on. Yeah, it's now recording. Share my screen. Zoom in. So the first thing I wanted to show is related to the work I'm doing now in establishing a new toolbar functionality. Now, this is an early draft, I would say, but I'm making a change in that I'm making use of the Telrik toolbar class instead of the material toolbar element. Toolbar we have from Telrik contains a lot of extra functionality which is lacking in the previously used toolbar implementation. So, for instance, navigation with keyboard is present. So now I'm pressing the keyboard to navigate. And there's also some support for people who have difficulty reading on a screen. So for blind people and things like that. So eventually, I think Jan is saying that in some markets, in US, for instance, if we want to sell Adrega to a customer, and particularly in government customer, then one of the requirements that the American government has is that the solution should be accessible for weak-sighted and blind people. And so if we could make use of underlying components which supports the required functionality, I think we're much better placed to be able to sell into this market. You will see that some of these icons has been this so far added as a placeholder, and we talked about that, Jan and me. So, for instance, we have this group icon today, but we both think that we might find some better shape of this because it's not very intuitive. So for now, I'm just using this grouping icon that we have from Telrik, which is like this black shaped. This view icon is also something I just picked. It's the layout icon in the Telrik icon set, but maybe we will also be able to find something better than that. Jan likes colors on the icon, so I think maybe Elena, if you have the ability, then maybe a little bit later on we can have a discussion with you, and maybe you can come up with some new icon shapes where it's needed. You will also see that one of the things that I've talked to Jan and Andreas about, but we haven't actually done any changes yet, is to reorder the module pages. So this is the order that Jan requested me to implement today. So you can see now dashboard is the first module. Projects is renamed to be planning. I think that's a very good idea because now we have planning and projects here. So our distinct names. And yeah, this is the order that Jan wants it. He's also talking about not in 5.5, but in 5.6 to remove home page and include it in one of the modules as a secondary page. It should also maybe display this toolbar element in activities page. You will see that it now looks like this. I'm still using the old one on top, but this one will then replace the selection of views and also the selection of projects. So now I can select a different view here, and I can also select a different project if I like to do that. But the product selection in this is more advanced, and so I will also be able to show this when you click on this lower button. But for now, it's just kind of a placeholder again here, just so that everything is working. The idea is then also to have this view toolbar accessible in these lower panels as well, so that you are able to select filter and grouping sorting options in these tables, and even switch between the views. Do you guys have any comments to the view functionality I'm just starting to introduce?
Could you clarify, Brand, if I want manage filter or grouping, I should click on icon in this case?
It's a good question. So for now, what happens is that if you pick on this arrow, you will get a list of selections. So you will see that I have a list of project selections and here are view selections. There's an option on clicking on this as a button as well. And I guess what we should make happen then is to have this dialog popping up, right? So that's an option. So it's basically reversing these orders. Here you pick on the pick list to open it, and you pick on the icon to get it appear. But in this other case, it's basically the reverse order. You have the pick list there, and you get the editor by clicking on this one. It's currently not set up to do that though.
Do you think that it is more clear when separate icons?
No. This is just one control element which gives us this option. Maybe we need to discuss this in detail, but I wanted just to have a new line. We can easily add more text to it because, as you see, we have the views prefix here that is currently missing. So maybe to clarify, we'd have some legends on the toolbar as well. But I think I just started on this yesterday, so I'm sure we will have some talk together to see what is the best solution as far as what elements should go into the toolbar and how it should work.
Okay. No, in any case, this toolbar must be present.
Yeah.
We should have this functionality. And about homepage, we cannot delete this page because for member, we have only two visible page models. It's home and time reporting. And at current moment, we have not any other places where manager may view his current states.
I think what Jan envisioned was that in most cases, if you go to time reporting, you don't have access to approve and quick approve, so you have only timesheets. Then you would have information in addition. So when you go to time reporting, you would have the information, which is today's home, and you would also have timesheets to fill out. That was Jan's suggestion this morning, but we haven't actually made any decision on making this as a permanent change in 5.5. I think this will happen in 5.6.
No, okay. In any case, we shall discuss it with Jan because it is not good idea. It is general pages and move to timesheet to time reporting model. It is ibitava functionality at all. Therefore, it is not good idea. No, okay. In any case, we will display it later.
So one thing I wanted to show also now, are there any more further comments regarding the toolbar changes I'm making? Of course, these are subject to change though, but I wanted to show you how far I progressed. Okay, so yeah, there's a debugging technique I showed Olga this week, which she became interested in, and I thought it could be good to share with the team as a technique that you can apply when debugging the web services in particular. So I'm sure everyone is familiar with this panel that we have as a browser editing or debugging tool. So if I go down to planning now, you will see that I'm making some requests for getting projects. So for instance, this is one. So of course, I have the option to replay this to trigger the same invocation on the web service again. But this is lost when I exit the browser session. I wanted to be able to repeat this invocation of the web service later on. And there is a nice option I would like to just mention. So first off, if you have a habit of creating your own notes, textual notes, then there is in Radar and also in WebStorm the idea of scratches, and so And these are temporary documents that you create on your hard drive. So it's not being added to Git repositories or something like that. Just know that. But the way it's set up to work is very simple. So there's a hotkey which is holding all the control keys down, Shift Control Alt, and hitting Insert. And you can see here I can create different types of documents. So what I wanted to show you now today is the HTTP request document. What I can do here is that I basically copy from this log that we have here. It's a payload also. If you use the source here and then copy the values. And I can actually execute this statement. And you can see here I got a lot of lots of response to this. There's also a file being generated. I can click on the file to open it. And this is the response that I got from the server side. And you can see that I can actually look at the structure on this file, or JSON dataset, I would say. So this just illustrates that now if I should terminate the browser session and I should terminate Raider, I can actually come back to this document and then I can replay the session one more time if I like. So and so that it is a very powerful and easy way to actually trigger the web service, and I found it very useful, in particular when I'm tracing a bug in the web service. And the alternative is actually to open the web browser and navigate to the page that is actually calling on the web server, and then only then can I actually see what happens when I attach a debugger to web server. Now, if I've had a attached debugger, I can press on play here or run, and then it will actually invoke on the service I'm actually debugging. So very time saving. Hopefully that's a technique you can actually make use of. That's everything I had in mind for today. Are there any questions about? Yes, Helena.
Sorry, Bernd. Could you come back to UI in planning?
Yes, sure. Let me open it again.
I noticed that at current moment we have two projects combo boxes. I think that we may use current combo box.
The idea is to remove the top line altogether and just maintain the selection of projects and views in this lower line. You will see
it is strange because the first line of icons it is work with selected project. It means that new project you should select on line top.
Okay, yes, I can do that. You can see here on this resources page, all it's only icons on the top bar here, whereas the lower bar has these pick list elements. So the idea I had was to reproduce this in that now we have a top bar, which is because I will be removing show level, and the idea was to remove all these. So I only have an icon row on top, and then below it I would have like this more advanced selection. But yes, your argument is to move this to the first row, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Let me think, of course, because you're right that all pages should have one UI structure, and
So if I go to tracking, for instance, this row of icons will be very large, right? And there's not much space here for these functions that we have down here. So, but maybe we can talk about this as we develop this and move towards like a final solution. So what Jan suggested, actually, which is not a bad idea, is to have one toolbar defined that can be shared between different pages. And then the order of the icons is decided by this single implementation. Now, some pages do not want to show all the icons. In that case, these are masked out, but it's the same toolbar implementation, even if you're switching between the different pages. This ensures that the ordering is maintained consistently when switching pages. And also the look and feel is also consistent in that there's only a single implementation for the actions. But yes, let's come back to that, and I'm sure we will be having a good discussion and try different ideas to see what is a good fit.
Yes, sure. You need to think about it.
Any other comments? No? In that case, I wish everyone a good day and hope to see everyone on Monday. So yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, have a nice weekend, guys.
Nice weekend. Thank you, Brand. Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.